Hi everybody, thanks for joining, appreciate it. This is John Cray. I run the product management team for Enghouse, responsible for the strategy and go-to-market for our products. Joining me today, I'll bring up the slide here, is Sandra Crawford, who is the head of our strategic alliances, runs our significant partnerships, including our partnership with Microsoft. We're going to be talking quite a bit about how we developed the product that we're announcing today in collaboration with Microsoft, and Sandra is driving the strategy. So I'll go over what the product is, functionally, what it can do, how it works to benefit the operator or attendant, or receptionist in the business. Sandra is going to go over for us how to obtain the product, access to the product through our website, and how 30-day trials work and all of that sort of thing. So with that, we will get started. So first of all, why an attendant console? An attendant console is a critical tool for the person who's basically the front line of the business. You know, the operator, receptionist, attendant is the person that gets that first interface with customers when they call into the business, and you want that face of the business to be very productive, very friendly, very efficient, to be able to help the customer when they call in, to be able to get the customer the information they need and or get them to the right person within the business to best handle their needs. So you want that personal touch. So, you know, in theory, a person could do that with a simple telephone. But by providing them with a lot of other tools and a lot of tools that are very easy to use, very efficient to use, very visual, that person becomes much more empowered to be able to deliver that personal experience for your customers. We'll see what that means when we actually get into what the application looks like, and we'll go through a quick demo. And the other thing is, you know, it's really about the value and quality of that interaction with the customer. So it's important to know who the right person is within the business to deal with that customer. We can potentially provide that information at a single click to that receptionist, and then to allow that person to handle call after call after call very efficiently. You know, in theory, a receptionist can be a very, very busy person. He or she can be handling tons of interactions with customers every single day. So we want to make sure that person is highly productive and efficient when they're working with those interactions. So we've developed this particular product, which we call the Attendant Console. We've developed it in collaboration with Microsoft. We'll talk about how it works in conjunction with the Microsoft Skype for Business PBX in just a second. But we've been working with Microsoft for, I'm going to say, 7 to 8 years now, since all through an entire lifetime of Skype for Business, its predecessor Link, and actually its predecessor OCS. So Enghouse has been developing solutions in collaboration with Microsoft for many, many years. And with our close partnership with Microsoft, we're able to get a number of things. We're able to get access to their engineering team to discuss the best way to integrate our products with theirs. We're able to get access to their product managers to be able to share roadmaps and talk about the direction of our products in collaboration with the direction of Skype for Business and Office 365. We're able to work with Microsoft on product launches. We basically are a very, very close high-touch partner of Microsoft's for both the Attendant Console and for Contact Center products, and that gives us the advantage of being able to get early drops of their software in advance of their general availability, and to be able to certify basically as soon as Microsoft offers a certification program for a product like Skype for Business, we're able to certify immediately. And in fact, you know, this console product and our Contact Center products are certified on Skype for Business 2013, 2015, and they've been certified and tested along with the latest versions of the Skype for Business client applications. So we're completely in sync with Microsoft, its current products, and its strategy every step of the way. One key thing about this particular product is it works with any version of Skype for Business and requires absolutely no server hardware from Enghouse or from anyone else. The server is not required because this particular product installs on the desktop and is upgraded on the desktop and connects directly through the Skype for Business client to whatever version or configuration of Skype for Business is running. So you might have Skype for Business running on premise, in your own infrastructure. You might have it hosted by a partner, or you might be using the Skype for Business Online Cloud PBX, which is the Office 365 E5 Cal. If you have any of those configurations, this product will connect to that PBX and will just work. And the reason we're able to do that is we actually use the API provided by the Skype for Business client on the desktop in order to hook up and get access to all that functionality the client provides, including control over calls, the ability to access directories, departments. You might have set up directories on Skype for Business. We can access those directories and make them visible in our client application. And then we can get, of course, all the presence information about the people in the business, in the enterprise, that you might be looking up and wanting to send calls to. So we're able to do that with any configuration of Skype for Business. This is basically what the product looks like. So it's got a very clean, very lean designed screen. One of the reasons we made the screen so lightweight and sort of easy to read and easy to use is because of the fact that you want your operators or attendants to be able to learn the application very, very quickly. So when someone comes in and starts using the application, they really need no training at all. Calls just appear in the application. They can click on those calls. They can answer them. They can hover over the person they're talking to and see the available functions to be able to put that call on hold or transfer the call or park it, or any of the functions that you need in order to move calls around the enterprise. You can see very clearly there in the center of the screen the presence information, very visible, and looks a lot like Skype for Business, using the same kinds of colors and indicators that Skype uses to indicate presence. Directory lookups are very easy. You just type the name or type the department and you're looking people up. It's really lean and really easy to learn and use. And that's important because, you staff a new receptionist or you staff a new operator or even use a temp or whoever you might be using in your business, and they can quickly come up to speed with the application and start using it very, very effectively. You see there's some metrics in the center of the screen, basically how many calls we've handled today. When we get into the demo, we'll talk about what those metrics mean and how you use them. Here's the call control parts. We're seeing a screenshot here. We'll actually show this in action in a second. But here's what you see in kind of in the center of the screen, where you have the active information about who's called you. Their caller ID information is here. If that person's in your phone book, we get to look that person up and actually name the person. So you'll see the person's name displayed there as well. So you've got that information very visible on who is being talked to. Down at the bottom left, you can see the calls stacking up that are coming into queue. In this case, coming into the sales queue. They're ringing and they change color, and we'll see that again live in action to indicate how they're aging in the system. And that's a visual indicator to the receptionist that he or she needs to pay attention to that particular caller. We can see the call controls here. We've got a lot of power for that attendant to be able to send calls directly off to people, park them for someone who's moving around, warm transfer them so they can do a warm handoff to the destination, and lots of other functions. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, we've got this ability to look up by person, by department, to see the people that have been recently contacted by that particular caller so that we have a quick and easy access to a transfer destination for that caller as well. So it's easy. The buttons are big. The words on the buttons are large. They mean exactly what they do. And so it's easy for the attendant to be able to see what they're doing, and they don't have to worry about, learning the application in detail. I will say this, though. Receptionists who handle call after call after call often want to be extremely efficient with the way they do that. So every button on here, you'll notice, has a little like in case F4 or F6, a keyboard control that allows the receptionist or operator to access all these functions with the keyboard without using the mouse. And this is a common need for operators or attendants who handle many, say hundreds of calls in a day. They have to be able to quickly use the keyboard without having to reach for and move the mouse around to access this functionality. So that's a key productivity gain for the operator as well. So with that, I will show you a quick demo. Now we've pre-recorded the demo as a video, so I will start and stop the video as we go, just to show you kind of the key highlights of the application as it is working in action here. So let's take a look. So here it is. I've got a call coming in, and you can see that call appearing down at the bottom left portion of the screen. The color of the call is green. It's a fresh new call. It's just come into the business, and I have the ability to answer it either using my Skype for Business client or using the answer button in the attendant itself. I can do it either way and set it up to work either way. So with that, let's answer that call, and then we can see the call is answered. Now, while the call is answered, you can see the clock timer counting up here on additional calls that have come in. So even though we've taken a call, and that call is now in the center of the screen, we'll be working on that in a second, 2 more calls have come in, and there's their caller ID information stacked up on the bottom left. So the clock timers are counting up. Meanwhile, I'm working on this call in the center. I answer the call, and now I've got all access to all this call control functionality. And I've got access to people that I might want to transfer the call off to. Now notice this little tab here called Recent Transfers. For that particular caller ID, that particular caller, these are the 3 people in the recent past that caller has called in for. So that's a big productivity gain for the receptionist. That person can now see previous common transfer destinations for a particular caller. And every caller has their own set of recent transfers. So in this case, I see Katie is there, and I'm going to try to transfer the call off to Katie. Okay? But that is very much an efficiency gain, and those are automatically collected by the system as the operator works on calls. So as calls are transferred off, the system keeps track of who they're transferred off to and always displays that recent transfer list. You don't have to use the list. You can click and look up another person here in the search bar. You can click here and look up departments and go see who's available in a particular department. But it's often the case that when callers call in, they're really looking for the same person over and over again. Imagine a person in a financial services business calling in to talk to their loan officer. Imagine in a hospital, a patient calling in and always wanting to talk to their doctor. You know, this is a very, very common thing, and so this is a high productivity gain for the operator. Now in this case, we're going to park the call for Kai, and the call moves over to the right-hand side of the screen. Now I've paused it again, but there's animation going on here. You can see the call actually moving down the screen and then getting picked up by Kai, you know, when Kai is available. Now what's the difference between park and transfer? Well, in a business where people are pretty much sitting at their desks, transfer is the common approach that you use. You send the call off to an individual location, physical location in the business, a phone or a headset on a PC, and that person is literally sitting there waiting for the call, ready to take the call. But imagine an operation where people move around, like let's say the doctors in a hospital. They often relocate. They're often moving around the hospital. So, but if a patient calls in, that doesn't mean the doctor might not be available to take their call wherever they might be. So the operator has the ability to check with the doctor, see if they're available, and if they are, park the call, and the doctor can literally call in to that park location and pick up the call from anywhere in the business. So park is a useful function when people move around. Transfer is the most useful function typically when people are located in an individual physical location. Anyway, that call was picked up by Kai, and at the time it was, the call disappeared from the operator's view. If the call wouldn't have been picked up, and we'll see that in a second, the call would have stayed on the screen. Meanwhile, more calls are coming in, and the next call is ready to be answered. So now the receptionist answers that call. Here's a key thing. When the receptionist is working on calls and other calls are stacking up on the bottom left portion of the screen, we can see the calls are changing color over time. They go from green to yellow to orange to red. We call it toasting, because it's kind of like something getting toasted as it ages in the system. So as it ages, we want to get a visual indication to that receptionist that that call needs attention. It's been waiting, listening to hold music for a while, so it's important to pay attention to that call. That gives the attendant kind of a big picture view of what's going on. That means they can decide how much time they have to spend on the caller they're on before they have to get to the next call. If there's a lot of calls stacking up and aging in the system, the operator may want to quickly send the existing caller off somewhere. If there's no calls appearing, or if the calls are green, then that's an indication that the operator may just be able to take their time with this particular caller and maybe try to help them with a more personal touch. It's up to the operator, and having these kinds of visual indications gives that person the control and visibility into how they might handle these callers. Meanwhile, calls are coming in, calls are being taken. By the way, these calls are also potentially being taken by other operators and then sent off. And here we can see that even as they're moving down the right-hand side, they're also changing color. And in this case, we can see a call that was parked for Katie not being picked up by Katie. This other call was transferred off to Kai and has not yet been picked up by Kai. So the operator can see these other calls in an animated way and is able to pay attention to those. And in the event it doesn't get picked up, they can control that. They can click on it and pull it back. And in this particular case, we're going to see the receptionist pull that Katie call back, make it active again, and then transfer it off to someone else. So notice Katie's presence is actually moved to the away state. So Katie's actually not available. So the call that was parked for Katie never got picked up. Now we're going to transfer the call off to Dot to make sure that it gets picked up quickly. So now we're going to transfer directly to Dot, and boom, we've got that call moved off. So we've seen an operator in action here handling multiple calls in quick succession and being able to see both calls that are stacking up ready to be taken by the receptionist and calls that have already been parked or transferred to make sure that they actually get picked up by the destination. A lot of call control here. The other thing the operator has is metrics. So the operator is actually able to see how many calls he or she has taken today, how many calls have been handled overall for a particular queue, and so on. So it's kind of a little bit of a goal-setting approach here, where it's possible that an operator may want to see how many of a particular goal of number of calls he or she has taken through the day. And if you have a team of operators, they may actually have goal setting for the team and for the individual. So you can see all these metrics kind of stacking up. Right now, the metrics are call counts by queue and call counts by what actually happened to each kind of call. What we are planning to do in the future of this is to add additional metrics into the application to cover things like handle time and other things that you might want to set goals for the operator on. Okay. The other thing we wanted to talk quickly about is, here's the recent transfer list. We can scroll through departments here, is the call control functionality of the system. So we actually have quite a bit of call control. In this particular case, we've put a call on hold. You can see it appearing in blue here at the bottom of the screen. And if we look, we are able to access a whole lot of different kinds of functionality to make the attendant or operator efficient. We can transfer directly. We call it a cold transfer, where the second the transfer is done, the operator is off the call and the call is just being sent off to the destination. We can do a supervised transfer, where that's more of a warm handoff, where effectively a conference is set up between the operator, the caller, and the transfer destination person. And the three of them can talk for a little while before the operator or receptionist gives up the call completely. So it's more of a warm handoff. That's a really good situation when, say, the caller has explained some situation to the receptionist, and the receptionist doesn't want to just force the caller to repeat all that information for the destination. So he or she can kind of help shepherd the process, shepherd the call to the right person. You also can see this little transfer to mailbox. It's grayed out right now because this particular person is actually available and ready to take the call. But in the event they were unavailable or on another call or something like that, then we could basically transfer the call directly to their mailbox, so the caller wouldn't have to sit through a long greeting, let's say, from the destination address. The person could just be transferred directly. They'd hear the beep, and they'd be recording a message into the mailbox of the destination. And then we've got other little tools here. We talked about Park, but we can also instant message a destination. You know, we could say, Kai, are you available to take this call right now? Really good in a hospital setting like we discussed. Is a doctor really, really willing and able to take a call from a patient at this point? We can live instant message them. And on the destination side, that appears as an instant message in Skype for Business, so that the destination just simply IMs back and forth using the standard Skype for Business client. We can also send an email to a destination. So let's say the caller didn't want to actually talk to the person right now, or the person wasn't available. I can send an email to a target destination and say, you know, caller called in, interested in this product. Can you please call them back? Here's their number. And do it in the form of an email as opposed to a voicemail. So you can do it any way you choose. And having these tools at their fingertips, and again, access through the mouse or through the keyboard, is a really productive and efficient way to handle the callers. In this particular case, we're doing a warm transfer, sending the call off, and then that frees up the operator for the next call. So hopefully that made a lot of sense. We have this application available today, and we have it again for any one of the configurations of Skype for Business that we discussed. So with that, I'm going to transfer control over to Sandra to tell us how to get the product. So, Sandra.
Thanks, John. Hi, guys. As John said, I'm here to show you just how simple it is to get your hands on TouchPoint Attendant. See, we'll get back to the slides here. No, that's okay.
There we go.
Okay, and ta-da! So you're going to get it directly from the Enghouse Interactive website. And even better, we're going to let you use it free for 30 days. John spooled my surprise on that a little bit earlier. Thanks, John. And so here we're showing the direct link as well as a screenshot of the web page with a call out showing where to click, which is that little button labeled Download a Free Trial. Now don't worry about writing this link down right now. We'll be sending out later today. Next slide. Okay. Once you've clicked on the Download a Free Trial button, you'll be asked to fill out a short form with your contact information. Now, there'll be two tabs there, one for customers and one for partners. And if you fill out the form yourself, which you are welcome to do so, then when we contact you later, we will be asking you for the name of your Microsoft partner, or we're happy to introduce you to one. Next slide. Once you submit the form, you'll reach the thank you page shown here, and there you'll have a link to download the software. Also on this page, there's a help section with some FAQs, a link to a demo video, the installation document, as well as a quick reference guide. Next slide. Now, if the product has never been licensed before, that's when you'll be offered the 30-day free trial period. And the free trial will give you access to full functionality of the software for those 30 days. While in trial mode, there'll be a banner at the top bar of TouchPoint Attendant letting you know how much time is left in your trial period, as well as a daily pop-up reminder, which you can see here. Now, if the product exhausts the trial period, you'll be invited to provide a valid product key, and that means we're going to ask you to pay for it. If that's not done, then the only option will be to exit. Next slide. See how easy that was? Licenses are subscription only. They are purchased in advance for 12 months at a time. It's just $60 per license per month. And if you purchase in bulk, we have a bulk buy price, which 10 or more at a time is going to get you 10% off. Now, I'm going to turn things back over to John for a quick recap and a brief plug on Enghouse and our Microsoft relationship before we wrap up and take any questions. And don't forget, you'll each get an email today with a link to download the software as well as a copy of today's recording. John?
Thanks, Sandra. So as Sandra was saying, this is really, really easy. We'd strongly encourage you guys to go on the website, on the landing page, click and install the application. It is, the 30-day trial is no money down, as they say in used car lots. It's a really easy thing to do, and it immediately starts working. So when you download the application and you start it up, it connects automatically to your Skype client. So as long as you have a Skype client running on the desktop, it will connect, and calls will start appearing in the console even as they come into your Skype client. So even direct calls that are coming in from, say, someone else in your business can appear in the console, and you can start manipulating those calls using the application to get a feel for it. So it's really, really easy to use, and we'd strongly encourage you to give it a try. And again, no risk, and you don't have to buy a license. You can go use the trial and then decide if you like it for your own business. Just to recap what we've been talking about, we're closely aligned with Microsoft. We've been working on this with them. Microsoft believes this is a key product for them. We'll talk a little bit about the products that are obtained from partners for Microsoft, but Microsoft themselves has estimated that over half of businesses that are using Skype for Business, probably a lot more than half, would benefit from having an attendant console application where they would be able to handle calls very efficiently right from the front line of the business. Again, as we talked about, no server here. No server. It means it runs strictly on the desktop using the connection to the Skype client. You don't have to worry about installing anything else. Those metrics that we saw, those are not appearing in a database on a server. Those are just strictly tracked on the desktop itself. So really, really easy to use, really, really easy to manage. And it works with any version of the Skype for Business PBX, whether you have it installed on-premise, whether your partner is hosting it on your behalf, or whether you're using Skype for Business online in the cloud. Any of those configurations. And we talked about the 30-day trial. At the end of the trial, by the way, as Sandra mentioned, 10-day grace period. So, when the trial expires, you still have another 10 days where you can continue to use the product until you actually have to put in a valid license. Okay? Hopefully that was clear. In terms of who we are, according to us, we are the #1 communications software company for Skype for Business. We actually have the most products for communications management installed with Skype for Business of anyone in the entire global market. We have many, many hundreds of customers using our software alongside Skype for Business. And the kind of software that we provide actually is not just the attendant console. We also provide contact center features and functions and products. We provide the ability to report. We saw the metrics for attendant console, but we have many, many more metrics for the contact center that are available. And we provide recording and evaluation, quality management applications as well that are connected to the console and to the contact center to allow you to record your calls and evaluate the performance of the people that are handling the calls with your customers. So many recording configurations available for Skype for Business, giving your IT or architecture people a choice of how they want to tap in to the media path for those recordings. We have various options for that. So very powerful suite or portfolio of products. And again, with our partnership with Microsoft, we're able to align with their releases, new releases of Skype Client, new releases of Skype Server, new releases of Skype Cloud, and make sure that we're fully integrated and leveraging all the power and capabilities of Skype. And that is it. There's an email address down there at the bottom if you guys want to send questions or comments into that email address, americas.sales.sdr@enghouse.com. You can, or we can take your questions right now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat window in your GoToWebinar client, and we will receive those and be able to answer them right now. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, John. And it looks like we do have a couple of questions coming in. The first one that I see here is, when is it available?
So everything that we've just talked about is available today. You can go on the landing page that Sandra pointed us out to, and you can download the client and start using it in a trial form. You can request a license and purchase it today. And again, it works today with whatever version of Skype for Business you have.
Okay, great. And it looks like there's just one more question here. What is the difference between premise and cloud?
Okay, so there are a couple of differences, and that actually is a valid question. The Skype for Business application itself is slightly different in functionality based on whether it's installed on your premise or hosted by a partner, or whether you're using the Skype for Business online cloud PBX. There are some differences in functionality. One of those differences is the cloud PBX today does not have auto attendant or call queues. So attendants just receive calls directly from the PBX without going through an auto attendant or queue. That functionality will be available from Microsoft soon, but until it is, you can use the cloud PBX and attendant without that functionality. When that functionality is available, it will just simply be available and start working directly with the console without having to change the console at all. It'll just leverage that PBX functionality directly. And we've been working with Microsoft on how that works. A couple other minor differences. We see calls stacking up on the lower left side of the console and changing color and all that. The information that's provided on callers is slightly different. You know, caller ID is provided when we have the on-premise or hosted Skype for Business instance. When you have the cloud version, we actually see the name of the call queue. When queues are available, you'll see the name of the queue displayed there. So the information is slightly different dependent on the configuration of Skype that you have. But for the most part, the console functionality is the same. And in the event someone wanted to, say, move from an on-premise Skype for Business configuration to a cloud configuration, your attendants would not have to relearn the operation of the console. The workflow and user experience is the same. So hopefully that answers that.
Okay, great. And that looks like all of the questions that we have today.
Okay. Well, again, thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate it. Again, please give it a try, and send us email at that address if you'd like any help. We do have people on staff waiting for your calls, so if they're waiting for your emails. So if you send us a message, we'll get right back to you if you have any difficulties. But again, should be really, really easy to get going and try it out. So thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.